What if the relentless distractions of modern life are not the true enemy of your focus? What if the real battle is fought and won within your own mind, long before you ever open your phone? The path to unshakable daily focus is an ancient one, a secret known to the Stoics. How real men stay focused daily. Stoicism, compiled and published by Stoic Power. Lesson 1. Inner calm amid daily chaos. Imagine the eye of a great hurricane. Within its center, there exists a pocket of uncanny and profound calm, a place of stillness, while just miles away, winds of immense destructive power rage in a chaotic spiral. This is the perfect metaphor for the focused mind of a real man. He learns to cultivate an inner sanctum of peace that remains untouched, even as the storm of daily life, with its endless demands, notifications, and obligations, swirls around him. Yet, for so many of us, this ideal feels like a distant dream. We live in a state of constant inner conflict, feeling our attention being pulled in a dozen different directions at once. Our minds are hijacked by the ping of an email, the buzz of a text, the urgent request of a colleague, and the silent pressure of an ever-growing to-do list. We are caught in the raging winds, tossed about without agency or direction. The fundamental problem is that this external chaos is allowed to become internal chaos. The disorder of the world seeps through the cracks of our unguarded minds, creating a tempest of anxiety, stress, and mental fragmentation. In this state of inner turmoil, clear thought becomes impossible. True focus, the kind required for deep work and meaningful progress, cannot survive in such a hostile environment. We are left feeling perpetually overwhelmed, busy but unproductive, and masters of nothing. The transformative solution offered to us by the wisdom of the Stoics is to stop trying to calm the storm outside and instead dedicate ourselves to building an unbreakable inner citadel. This is a fortress of the mind, a place of profound tranquility and order that we can retreat to at any moment, a center of calm that is impervious to external turmoil. This practice is rooted in one of the most empowering principles of Stoic philosophy, the absolute distinction between what we can control and what we cannot. We cannot control the demands of our boss, the state of the economy, or the traffic on the highway. But we have complete and total sovereignty over our inner world, our responses, our judgments, and our state of mind. True peace, therefore, is not the absence of chaos in our lives, but the diligent cultivation of order within our minds. To begin constructing this inner citadel, you must become its architect and mason. The first actionable step is to begin each day with a morning reflection. Before the world has a chance to impose its agenda on you, take 5 minutes to meditate on what is within your power today and what is not. Set the intention to focus your energy solely on your own actions and responses. The second step is to practice what can be called attentional hygiene. Throughout the day, be as conscious about where you place your focus as you are about the food you eat. Consciously choose to ignore the trivial and engage with the essential. The third step is to reframe every moment of chaos as a training opportunity. When the phone rings and the emails pile up, see it not as a disaster, but as a chance to practice returning to your calm center, to your breath, and to your chosen purpose. By consistently practicing these steps, you will experience a profound shift in your daily existence. You will become the calm, unshakable eye of your own hurricane. You will find that you can act with precision and clarity, making wise decisions even under pressure. This inner calm is not a passive state. It is a source of immense power, allowing you to direct your focus like a laser beam on the things that truly matter. Your call to action is to begin your training immediately. For the next 24 hours, every time you feel that familiar sense of being overwhelmed, I want you to stop. Take 3 slow, deliberate breaths and silently affirm to yourself, I am the master of my mind, not a victim of my circumstances. This inner calm is the bedrock upon which all sustained focus is built. It is the solid ground you need to stand on. But even on solid ground, a man can be tricked by mirages and lose his way. To maintain our focus, we must learn to identify and systematically dismantle the mental barriers that arise from within. If you are ready to build your inner citadel, support our work by liking this video and subscribing to Stoic Power for more timeless wisdom. Lesson 2. Mental barriers to true focus. Picture a master archer standing before a target. He has a perfect bow, a straight arrow, and a steady hand. Yet, as he draws the string, he is forced to look at the target through a pane of glass that is warped, clouded, and streaked with mud. No matter how skilled his technique, his arrow will almost certainly miss its mark. The problem is not the archer, the arrow, or the target. The problem is the distorted lens of his perception. This is the daily reality for countless men who struggle to focus. The true conflict is not with the external task, but with the invisible, internal barriers of the mind. You know precisely what you need to do, but as you try to concentrate, you are ambushed by an internal chorus of self-doubt, fear of failure, and the nagging voice of procrastination. This is a critical problem because these mental barriers sabotage our focus before we even begin. They are invisible walls that we ourselves erect within our minds. We tell ourselves stories. I'm not smart enough for this. I'll probably fail anyway, so why try hard? I'll do it later when I feel more motivated. And these stories become self-fulfilling prophecies. This internal resistance is like trying to drive a car with the emergency brake engaged. It drains our precious mental energy, creates immense friction, and makes even simple tasks feel monumental. The transformative solution is found in the Stoic practice of acting as the vigilant gatekeeper of your own mind. It is the discipline of examining your own thoughts, or phantasiae as the Greeks called them, and challenging their validity before allowing them to influence your state of being. The core idea is a liberating revelation. Your thoughts are not facts. They are merely propositions, suggestions offered up by your mind, and you have the absolute power to accept or reject them. The untrained mind accepts every thought as gospel, especially the negative and limiting ones. The Stoic in training learns to act as a wise and discerning guard, questioning every thought that seeks entry into the citadel of his mind. He asks, is this thought true? Is it helpful? Does it align with the man I want to be? Only those thoughts that are rational, productive, and virtuous are granted entry. To begin demolishing your own mental barriers, you must first identify them. The first actionable step is to become a detective of your own mind. When you find yourself procrastinating or unable to focus, pause and ask, what specific thought is causing this resistance? Write it down. It might be a fear, a limiting belief, or a negative self-judgment. The second step is to cross-examine that thought with ruthless logic. If the thought is, I'm not good enough, challenge it. Is that objectively true? Have I never succeeded at anything before? Does this thought serve my purpose or hinder it? The third step is to consciously replace the destructive thought with a rational Stoic affirmation. Instead of I'm not good enough, you substitute, I will focus my energy on putting forth my best effort, which I control, and I will accept the outcome, which I do not control. The benefits of this mental discipline are extraordinary. You will literally clear the lens of your mind, allowing for the kind of sharp, crystal clear, undivided focus required for excellence. The internal friction disappears, and you will find that your mental energy is now available for the task at hand, not wasted on fighting internal phantoms. You stop being your own worst enemy and become your own greatest coach. Your practical exercise is to identify your most common focus-breaking thought. Write it down on a piece of paper. Next to it, write a strong, rational, and empowering counter-statement. Carry this with you. Every time the old thought arises, read your new one. This is how you systematically reprogram your mind for focus. Clearing these internal chronic barriers is a giant leap forward. But what about the sudden assaults on our focus? What about the emotional storms that can appear on the horizon with little warning? We must now learn to become the skilled captain who can navigate these tempests without being thrown off course. We invite you to share your biggest mental barrier in the comments below, as your honesty may help someone else recognize their own. Lesson 3. Emotional control over impulsive reactions. Consider a skilled captain navigating his ship across a vast ocean. When his lookout spots a storm on the horizon, the captain does not panic or curse the heavens. He does not abandon the wheel in a fit of rage. Instead, he calmly assesses the situation, issues clear orders to his crew to adjust the sails and secure the cargo, and steers the ship to meet the waves at the optimal angle. He uses his skill and composure to navigate the storm, not to be consumed by it. This is the model for the focused man. In stark contrast, many of us live in a state of constant emotional conflict, where our focus is at the mercy of every passing squall. An entire day of productive intention can be completely shipwrecked by a single negative email, a thoughtless comment from a loved one, or a sudden, unexpected surge of anger, jealousy, or anxiety. This emotional reactivity is the sworn enemy of deep focus. It is a fundamental problem because it yanks our attention away from our chosen objective and enslaves it to a fleeting, often irrational passion. When you are irrationally hijacked, your rational mind goes offline. All of your mental resources are rerouted to fueling the emotion, leaving your important tasks abandoned. You become a ship without a captain, tossed about by the waves of circumstance, and by the end of the day, you find yourself exhausted and far off course. The transformative solution lies in what the Stoics called the discipline of ascent. It is the learned ability to create a deliberate and sacred pause between an external event and your internal, emotional response. This discipline is founded on the Stoic core idea that events in the world are, in themselves, neutral. They are simply facts. A traffic jam is a traffic jam. A critical comment is a set of words. Our suffering and distraction do not come from these events, but from the judgment we instantly and automatically attach to them. We judge the traffic jam as terrible and ruining our day. We judge the comment as an insult and an attack. It is this judgment, not the event itself, that triggers the destructive emotion. The man who wishes to be focused must learn to master his judgments. To install this new operating system in your mind, you must follow 3 steps. The first is to develop your inner lookout. Learn to recognize the first physiological signs of an emotional reaction. The second is to institute the strategic pause, the moment you feel triggered. This is a conscious choice to not react immediately. It is in this pause that your power lies. The third step is to use that pause to analyze the impression. Separate the objective fact from your subjective judgment. My boss criticized my report is a fact. My boss thinks I'm an idiot and my career is over is a judgment. You can then choose to assent only to the fact and discard the catastrophic judgment. The man who masters this discipline becomes emotionally resilient. He is no longer a leaf in the wind, but a rooted tree. His focus becomes a protected fortress, immune to the emotional raids of daily life. He can receive bad news or criticism, process it rationally, and return to his chosen task with his composure and attention intact. This is a superpower in the modern world. Your practice exercise is to become a narrator of your own emotions. The next time you feel a strong emotion begin to rise, silently name it to yourself. Ah, this is anger, or I am feeling the start of anxiety. This simple act of labeling creates the initial space between you and the emotion. It turns you from a participant into an observer, and from that place of observation, you can begin to choose your response with wisdom. This emotional control is a powerful shield that protects our focus from sudden attacks. But sustained, long-term focus requires more than just a good defense. It requires the positive, forward-moving force of discipline. We must now turn from protecting our focus to actively building it, one small choice at a time. If you are committed to becoming the captain of your soul, show your support by liking this video and subscribing for more. Lesson 4. Discipline through small daily choices. Behold a mighty river as it carves a great canyon through miles of solid rock. This incredible feat of nature is not accomplished with a single cataclysmic flood, but through the patient, persistent, and relentless flow of water over thousands of years. Each drop contributes to the awesome result. This is the true nature of discipline, a force built not in grand, dramatic gestures, but through the steady accumulation of small, consistent, daily choices. So many of us are trapped in a frustrating inner conflict regarding discipline. We set massive, inspiring goals, fueled by a temporary burst of motivation. We commit to transforming our lives overnight, only to fall back into our old, comfortable habits within days, leaving us feeling weak-willed and defeated. This all-or-nothing approach to discipline is a pervasive problem because it sets us up for inevitable failure. We mistakenly view discipline as a magical quality that some people are born with and others are not. We treat it like a finite resource that can be exhausted, rather than what it truly is, a muscle that can be trained. When we fail in our grand ambitions, we conclude that we simply lack discipline, and this becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. The transformative solution is to adopt the Stoic approach to discipline. It is the understanding that character, focus, and self-mastery are not the result of one heroic decision, but the sum total of our thousands of small, daily habits. The core idea is that every choice you make is a vote cast for the type of person you want to become. When you choose to get out of bed instead of hitting snooze, you cast a vote for a disciplined man. When you choose to tackle your most difficult task first, instead of procrastinating with email, you cast a vote for a focused man. When you choose to put your phone away instead of succumbing to a distraction, you cast a vote for a man of intention. These small wins, compounded over time, are what build an unbreakable will. The path to building this discipline muscle begins with progressive overload, just like in a gym. The first step is to choose one, almost laughably small positive action that is related to your focus. For example, commit to working on your most important project for just 15 uninterrupted minutes each day. The second step is to commit to executing this tiny habit every single day, without exception. The goal here is not the output, but the building of a new identity. I am the type of person who keeps promises to himself. The third step, only after the habit is established, is to gradually increase the duration or difficulty. That 15 minutes becomes 20, then 30, then an hour. The benefit of this approach is that you build unstoppable momentum. Your self-trust and self-respect skyrocket because you have a growing mountain of evidence that you are a person who does what he says he will do. Discipline ceases to be a daily, agonizing struggle and gradually becomes your default state, your new nature. The friction disappears and focus becomes effortless. Your call to action is to choose your one small vote. What is the single, smallest action you can commit to taking every single day for the next week to build your discipline? It should be so easy, you cannot say no. Commit to it now in the comments below, and you will have taken the first step in forging an unbreakable will. As your inner discipline grows stronger, you will find you are better equipped to face the true enemy of modern focus, the endless barrage of distractions from the outside world. Now that we are strengthening our internal resolve, we must learn to defend our minds from external invasion. Make sure you are subscribed to Stoic Power so you do not miss this critical lesson in mental self-defense. Lesson 5. Detachment from external distractions. Imagine a deep-sea diver on a mission to explore a sunken wreck in the silent, dark abyss of the ocean. His entire being is focused on his task, on his breathing, on the beam of his light, and on the mysterious world around him. He is completely oblivious to the chaotic storm raging on the surface miles above, the crashing waves, the howling wind, the frantic noise. He has intentionally detached himself from that world to achieve his purpose. This is the mindset of the focused man in the 21st century. And yet, most of us live like a small boat being tossed about on that chaotic surface. We are caught in an inner conflict between our desire to do deep, meaningful work and the irresistible pull of the digital world, with its endless stream of notifications, social media updates, breaking news alerts, and the siren song of trivial entertainment. This is a monumental problem because the modern world has been intentionally designed as an architecture of interruption. Our focus has become a valuable commodity, and there are billion-dollar companies whose entire business model is based on fracturing our attention and selling the pieces to the highest bidder. This constant state of fragmentation prevents us from ever entering the state of flow, required for high-quality work, leaving us feeling perpetually distracted, shallow, and unproductive. The Stoic solution is to practice a radical and intentional detachment from this world of digital noise. It is to consciously classify these distractions as indifference and refuse to grant them access to our most valuable resource, our attention. The core idea is rooted in the Stoic virtue of wisdom, the ability to know what is essential and what is trivial. The endless scroll of a social media feed, the angry political debates online, the lives of celebrities, these things are external to our core purpose and have no bearing on our character. A man on a mission recognizes the existence of this noise, but he makes the conscious choice to become selectively ignorant. He understands that to say yes to his own deep focus, he must say no to 1,000 shallow distractions. To achieve this state of focused detachment, you must become the architect of your own environment. The first step is to conduct a distraction audit. For one full day, keep a log of every single time your focus is broken. At the end of the day, identify your top 3 culprits. Awareness is the first step to change. The second step is to mercilessly re-engineer your environment for focus. Turn off all non-essential notifications on your phone and computer. Use website and app blockers. During your designated deep work blocks, physically put your phone in another room. Create a space with as little friction as possible between you and your work. The third step is to reframe your fear of missing out, FOMO. Understand that every time you surrender to a trivial distraction, you are missing out on the most important thing of all, the development of your own potential and the achievement of your own goals. By implementing this discipline of detachment, you will reclaim hours of your day and vast reserves of your mental energy. You will rediscover your brain's natural ability to enter a state of deep concentration, allowing you to produce world-class results in a fraction of the time. You will feel a profound sense of peace and control that comes from being the master of your own attention. Your practical exercise is to schedule your distractions. For 1 week, grant yourself 2 15-minute distraction blocks per day, one in the late morning and one in the late afternoon. This is your designated time to check social media, read the news, and indulge in digital candy. Outside of those scheduled blocks, you must maintain a strict fast from these sources. This practice alone can change your life. Protecting our focus from the daily, trivial distractions is a critical skill. But how do we maintain our focus and our resolve when faced with the major pressures, setbacks, and crises of life? We must now learn to not just withstand pressure, but to use it as fuel for our growth. If you are ready to reclaim your focus, let us know by liking this video and sharing it with someone who needs to hear this message. Lesson 6. Resilient mindset against life's pressure. Watch a master blacksmith as he forges a sword. He takes a simple piece of raw steel and subjects it to intense, almost unbearable pressure. He heats it in a blazing fire until it glows white hot, then pulls it out and relentlessly beats it with a heavy hammer. He does not shield the steel from this trauma. He intentionally uses the fire and the hammer to temper the metal, to beat out its impurities, to align its structure, and to transform it into a blade that is hard, sharp, and unbreakable. This is the Stoic approach to life's pressures. In our own lives, however, we often have the opposite reaction. We are caught in an inner conflict where we see pressure as a purely negative force. When we face a major setback, a failure in our career, a painful rejection, a health crisis, we see it as a catastrophe that completely derails our focus and shatters our momentum. This perspective is a debilitating problem. When we view pressure and adversity as roadblocks that stop our journey, that is exactly what they become. We lose our focus, our motivation, and our spirit because we believe the universe is conspiring against us. We break under the pressure instead of being strengthened by it. The transformative solution is to fundamentally shift our mindset and adopt the powerful Stoic belief that the obstacle is the way. It is the conscious choice to view every pressure, every challenge, and every setback not as a punishment, but as a necessary and personalized training opportunity designed to make us stronger. This core idea was articulated perfectly by the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, who wrote that our rational mind can convert every obstacle into raw material for its own use, just as a great fire consumes whatever is thrown into it and burns all the brighter. The impediment to our action becomes the fuel for our action. Pressure is not a thing to be feared or avoided. It is the very force that forges a resilient and intensely focused mind. To build this resilient mindset, you must learn to reframe adversity. The first step is to change the question you ask when faced with pressure. Do not ask, "Why is this happening to me?" This is the question of a victim. Instead, ask, "What can I learn from this? How can this experience be used to make me more virtuous, more wise, and more focused?" This is the question of a Stoic. The second step is to practice what the Stoics called premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. By occasionally and calmly contemplating potential future setbacks, you strip them of their power to shock and derail you if they ever come to pass. You have already faced them in your mind. The third step is to relentlessly focus on your response. You cannot control the external pressure, but you have absolute control over your focused, courageous, and rational response to it. This is where your true power lies. With this mindset, you become anti-fragile. Like the sword in the forge, you do not just survive pressure, you are improved by it. Life's challenges no longer break your focus, they sharpen it. Setbacks become setups for comebacks. You will develop a deep, quiet confidence that you can handle whatever life throws at you because you see everything as a training ground for your own growth. Your immediate call to action is this. The next time you face a difficulty or a pressure, however small, take out a piece of paper and write down 3 specific ways that this exact challenge could make you a better man in the long run. Force your mind to find the opportunity hidden within the obstacle. All of these lessons we have explored, cultivating inner calm, dismantling mental barriers, controlling emotions, building discipline, detaching from distractions, and developing resilience, are powerful in their own right. But they all culminate in a final, cohesive practice, a new way of living each day with profound intention and clarity. Subscribe to Stoic Power as we unveil the final lesson that ties it all together. Lesson 7. Living each day with Stoic clarity. Picture the master navigator of an ancient sailing vessel, preparing for a long voyage. Each morning, before the crew even begins to stir, he is on deck. He consults the eternal stars, he reviews his charts, he confirms his destination, and he sets the ship's rudder. Every action he takes for the rest of that day, every adjustment of the sails, is guided by this initial, clear intention. He knows his purpose, and so the ship stays true to its course. So many of us, however, begin our days not like a master navigator, but like a piece of driftwood tossed into the ocean. We wake up and immediately get pulled into the currents of other people's agendas, reacting to emails and notifications, and we reach the end of the day feeling exhausted, directionless, and wondering what we truly accomplished. This lack of daily intention is the ultimate problem for focus. A scattered life is simply the sum of scattered days. When we do not have a clear why for our day, our focus has no anchor. It becomes a prize for anyone or anything that shouts the loudest, and it is almost always captured by the trivial and the merely urgent, rather than the truly important. The transformative solution is to adopt the Stoic practice of beginning and ending each day with philosophical reflection and clear, focused intention. It is the conscious decision to become the master navigator of your own life. The core idea is that a focused life is not something you stumble into. It is something you deliberately design, one day at a time. By taking a few sacred moments each morning to align yourself with your core principles and your ultimate purpose, you ensure that your actions throughout the day are not random, but are coherent, purposeful, and effective. Clarity always precedes focus. The first actionable step is to implement a Stoic morning ritual. Before you look at your phone, before you let the world in, spend 5 minutes in quiet reflection. Ask yourself, what is my most important task for today? What virtue do I want to embody? What is within my control and what is not? Set your rudder for the day. The second step is to practice an evening review. Before you sleep, spend 5 minutes analyzing your day without judgment. Where did I act in accordance with my values? Where did I lose my focus and why? What lesson can I carry into tomorrow? This makes every day a learning opportunity. The third powerful step is to practice memento mori, to remember your mortality. Briefly remind yourself that this day is a precious, unrepeatable gift. This simple thought injects a powerful sense of urgency and clarity into your priorities, burning away the trivial. By embracing this practice, you will begin to live with a profound sense of intention. You will replace a life of reactivity with a life of proactivity. Your focus will have a home base, a clear purpose to which it can always return. Each day will cease to be a random series of events and will instead become a meaningful and deliberate step on the path toward your highest self, leading to a deep sense of peace and accomplishment. Your final call to action is to commit to this for just 1 week. For the next 7 days, reclaim the first 5 minutes of your morning. Before the world tells you what to focus on, take that time to set your own course. This small change will have an outsized impact on your life. This final practice is the glue that binds all the other lessons together. It transforms focus from a fleeting state you struggle to find into a permanent way of life you choose to live. It is the path to becoming the master of your days, and therefore, the master of your destiny. We have explored the ancient path to modern focus. It begins with creating inner calm in outer chaos and ends with living each day with unshakable clarity. By mastering your mind, emotions, and choices, you forge a life of purpose and resilience, becoming the focused man you were always meant to be. Thank you for joining us on this vital journey. If you have found wisdom and value in this guide, please like the video, comment with the lesson that resonated most, and subscribe to Stoic Power for more content to empower your life.